In this assignment, you'll have an opportunity to experience some performance tasks and look at what skills students need to be successful in them and also compare them to current assessments. It will really help if you have the Schoology app. As you can see, it's right here on my iPad. You can download this from the App Store to make sure that you have it prior to doing this assignment. Once you're in the Schoology app and you go to Assignment 13, we can start by actually exploring the ELA sample items. You'll see that the link is right here in that Assignment 13 area, so go ahead and click that link. When you click that link, you might actually get a screen that looks like this with an error message. Don't worry, it can be easily fixed. You can fix it by actually clicking this little area down here at the bottom with the little square and the arrow coming out of it, and then you'll get a box that says Open in Safari or Email Link. What you'll want to do here is click Open in Safari. Once you click Open in Safari, you may actually get this screen, which is another error message. Again, this is one of those errors that can be easily fixed, so don't worry. To fix the error message, all you need to do is turn your iPad sideways to a landscape rather than portrait orientation, and the error message completely goes away, like this. In order to look at the performance tasks, you're going to hover your mouse or click on the piece up here that says View More English Language Arts and Literacy Sample Items, and as you see, this blue dialog box drops down. In order to explore some items, what you're going to do is click over here on one of these performance tasks. For the purpose of this assignment and this demonstration, let's look at the garden performance task. So go ahead and just click that or tap it with your finger. Once you tap it with your finger, you'll see that the performance task will look like this. Our goal in this assignment is to really think about what skills students will need to know and be able to do in order to complete this task. So, and then also to think about how this task is different than current assessment items. So what you'll want to do is actually scroll past some of this information and actually get to the place where you can see the student directions for the task. It's on about the third or fourth page. When you get to the student directions, it will look like this. So you can see the task. Now when you look at this task, it says you will examine several sources about gardening. Then you will answer 3 questions about what you have learned. In part 2, you will write an argumentative article about school gardens for your newsletter. In order to really keep track and take notes on what skills students will need to be successful at this task, we have a note sheet for you in the Schoology forum. So what you'll want to do is go back into the assignment for into the Schoology forum for this assignment, and remember that looks like this. We do have some supports for you so that you can keep track of what you're thinking. Mainly this note sheet experience performance tasks. What you might want to do is click that and bring it up, and then you may need to just recreate this on a piece of paper, however, because you can't type directly into it on an iPad and you can't print it. Those are some limitations of doing this on the iPad. But at least you can see what the note sheet looks like so that you can take a look at it and you can recreate it on a piece of paper. So you'll see that the note sheet actually looks like this. You can see on the left-hand column, we're going to keep track of skills students need, and then on the right-hand column, we're going to keep track of the differences in the current assessment. And as I said before, you can just keep track of some of those notes on a piece of paper or something else, whatever works for you. So let's go back to the student task. Remember, one of the things that we're keeping track of are the skills that students have. Now, as you saw, this task asks students to examine several sources about gardening. So one of the skills that students will need is to be able to read multiple sources on a single topic and draw inferences and make conclusions. That would be something that I would write on my note sheet. I might also write on my note sheet that students will have to write an argumentative article, which is right here. Later on in this task, if you scroll down, you'll also see that there's a place that talks about pulling the best evidence from articles in order to include that in their argument. So that's something that I would also write on my note sheet, that students need to choose the best evidence to include in their argument. Not just any evidence, but the best evidence. If I'm thinking about the differences to my current assessment, one of the things that is really sticking out to me is that our current assessment is only multiple choice. And that's with the exception of the writing test in grades 4 and 7. So with this assessment, the writing will be embedded in every assessment in every grade level, which does change things dramatically. Also, the writing on this test is text-based, which isn't always true of the state writing test. And certainly students aren't necessarily expected to take multiple pieces of text and construct an argument, even when there might be a piece of text with the writing assessment. So that's something else that I would write on my note sheet that makes this different. Once you have an opportunity to look at some ELA tasks, then we're going to ask you to go back into Schoology and look at some math tasks. Once you go back to assignment 13, you'll see this picture again, this image. And instead of clicking on ELA, this time we're going to click on math. So go ahead and click on that. And remember, once you do, you may see a screen that looks like this. But again, don't be worried, there is a fix. When you click this little arrow down here at the bottom, right of your screen, touch that square with the arrow in it, you'll get this box here that says Open in Safari or Email Link. You want to click on Open in Safari, and that will fix this problem. Then you might get this error message, but remember the fix to this is to turn your iPad sideways. So turn it to a landscape orientation rather than a portrait one. And now it's fixed. Now remember, in order to look at the performance tasks, which is what we're doing, you need to go up to View More Mathematics Sample Items at the top and just tap on this link right here. Once you do, your screen will look like this. You'll notice this blue box comes down, and on the right hand side there are 3 different performance tasks, one for each of these grade bands, 3 through 5, 6 through 8 in high school. For the purpose of this example, we're just going to take a look at field trip. So go ahead and tap that with your finger. And then just as with ELA, a sample task will come up. You'll be looking at it, look at the student examples, and then think about the skills that students will need to be successful in the task. And then also think about how this is different from current assessment items, how math is going to be assessed very differently than it currently is. Again, you can record all of that on the note sheet that you started for ELA. It's the same process, just using the math sample items rather than the language arts sample items. Once you're finished looking at the math tasks, the math task, we're going to ask you to go back into the Schoology forum and click on the discussion piece. Once you click on Assignment 13 Discussion, you'll see this screen pop up. In order to add to the discussion, you need to tap this bar here, and then once you tap that bar, you're actually going to click that little plus sign. So tap the bar and click the plus sign. Once you do that, you'll get a screen that looks like this. And notice you can type directly into that field that says New Comment. And then once you type some of your thoughts into the comments, you're going to click Create, and that will add your discussion to everybody else's. We hope you enjoyed looking at these performance tasks and hope this video tutorial helps your experience on iPad go smooth. Thank you.